marauding, pillaging, sexual slavery, cannibalism, child sacrifice, human sacrifice, and all manner of atrocities were committed in Palestine by the Palestinians, therefore rendering them a great reputation as a nation of abominations. Al-Qaeda creating 9/11, the situation in which the Manhattan World Trade Center towers were destroyed, the development of Al-Qaeda, Hamas, and ISIL, whose existence is to free Palestine from Israel. American Airlines Flight 11, who was carrying Betty Ann Ong, a flight attendant who alerted the ground as to the hijacking, flew directly at a Malaysian Chinese girl. Her name was Aung Sunia, and she was on the 95th floor. The plane flew directly into her and terminated everyone in the tower. Apostasy-related revenge movements, in which if you try to convert away from Islam, Islam will go after you with violent threats and, of course, putting you to death. Corpse snatching, body snatching committed by Muslim Malay authorities in order to glorify the name of Islam. The Malaysian Airlines 1977 hijacking, in which a Palestinian Japanese bomber decided to take the plane out of the sky. This hijacking murdered the ambassador of Cuba, Chinese, Indians, and Caucasians, and was committed by a pro-Palestinian Japanese group in order to terrorize the Malaysian government into supporting Palestine. The plane crashed and killed 100 as a warning to the world. Thereafter, the Malaysian government began recognizing and supporting Palestine out of fear. Boston means a lot to me because I was educated at Harvard University. At the Boston Marathon, Wu Lingzi lost her life after Chechnya bombers decided to blow it up. What motivated Al-Qaeda and the Taliban also trained Chechnya into breaking away from the Russian Federation through violent insurrection. Cocktail bombing churches in Malaysia, Bible confiscations at churches in Malaysia, maliciously terrorizing Caucasian and Chinese brands in Malaysia, Muslim-Japanese collusion and collaboration in the Second World War, including in Malaya and Singapore. Amin al-Husseini, the Palestinian Mufti, who with other Muslims worked closely with Nazi Germany and Japan in order to further the Holocaust and the Pacific Holocaust. Bosnian and Albanian Muslim European Nazism, in which these troops helped to render entire regions devoid of Jews. 1969 Malaysia riots, in which from May to June, Chinese and Indian minorities were targeted for extermination by Malay crowds. The Hiroshima-Nagasaki vigil that is done to prove that these bombs were wrong, as though the true victims of the Second World War were the Japanese and Germans. The massacres in Indonesia in 1998, in which mass rape and murder were committed by the Indonesian Muslim majority against the Chinese minority. Terrorism, and for more than 40 years, gross misrepresentation of the Xinjiang Uyghur province in China done by Al-Qaeda, ISIL, and Hamas in order to nurture a situation in which a Uyghurstan or an East Turkestan can be created. Bali, Indonesia 2002, in which a Malay Muslim leader was involved. Jews migrating to Palestine to live there between 1921 and 1947 were systematically and gradually always persecuted by the Palestinians there. And therefore, when the declaration of the State of Israel was developed, just less than 6 hours later, Palestinians and their allies dive-bombed, literally went bombing Tel Aviv, just like the Japanese bombed Shanghai. Therefore, this is the nature of Palestine across 3,500 years, and in our contemporary times, a magnificent example as to how Palestine has managed to win. And that all manner of Muslim action, violent Muslim action, is usually anti-Chinese and anti-Jewish.